Hello everyone, today we're going to be doing some backup and restore using the Lander 7525 router. I've already gone ahead and made an image copy of this using the Win32 image creator here, disk imager. And I've used this tool for a long time, very good at making backups and restoring of your SD cards or compact flash cards. So what we're going to do is just start off the router. And I'm going to be going through the process of making a backup copy of the current configuration. And then I'm going to swap out to this copy I've made with the configuration already wiped out. So we're going to restore it onto this. So I'm going to do this step by step just to show you what happens if your compact flash becomes corrupt and you have a backup of this. You can restore the configuration. I'm going to show you how to also restore a configuration from a different system so you can see what happens. Okay, it's finally booted up. We can see that we can see our previous configuration here with all the different LAN ports. So I'm going to do a backup of this. I'm going to log in through the web interface and just our standard IP 192.168.1 and admin and pfsense is the default password. And we can see our previous configuration here. So I'm going to go to Diagnostics, Backup and Restore. And I'm going to download the current configuration. There's additional options you have here for package information or to encrypt the file. I'm just going to leave it with the default options. So I've downloaded the configuration here and I'm just going to rename it. I'm going to give it a more descriptive name. I'm going to give it today's date. Alright, and what I'm going to do now is just shut down the system. Alright, I need to unplug the power just to be on the safe side here. And I'm going to remove the current compact flash card. Help it come out. So I'm going to put this Kingston compact flash card, which has just the image. It doesn't have a configuration, so it'll be like we're starting a fresh install. All right, and plug back in, and I'm going to power this back on. Okay, so we're finally booted up and we can see that the configuration is different now. So I'm going to log into the web interface again. Do this again. And we can see that we're going to start with a complete blank configuration. So you see the welcome message. I'm just going to accept all the defaults here. I'm just going to put the Google DNS server here. Again, choosing all the defaults. And we're clicking reload now. Alright, so we're done with the default configuration, and as we can see, it doesn't have any of the changes we previously made. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go to Diagnostics, Backup and Restore, and I will choose the file. So this is the last configuration I saved, which was just a few minutes ago. So we're going to choose that. And we're going to hit the restore configuration button. So what it's telling us now that it's automatically rebooting in order for the configuration to be reloaded. Okay, and we're finally back, and we can see now that things are slightly different. I'm going to log back into the web interface so we can actually see if our configuration has been restored fully. Admin pfsense, and yes, it has. So we can see all the previous configuration I did to the status page here. There's the thermal sensors, the firewall, and if we go into firewall rules, we can see that we have the previous configuration with the addition of the AES-NI firewall rule. Alright, so that's a standard backup and restore situation where you're restoring to the same hardware. The next restore we're going to do is from a completely different hardware. I'm going to load up a configuration from a compact server with 2 quad port cards, and we're going to restore to this hardware, completely different. So I'm going to choose our file here, and I might lose connection doing this because the compact server that I have the configuration for is completely different than this, so you might see network connectivity loss during this. But what I want to show you is that the options you get for trying to restore back to a different hardware configuration. Alright, so this is the message I want to show everyone. Interface mismatch detected. Please resolve the mismatch. Save, then click apply changes to firewall reboot. I've tried this before, and sometimes reassigning the interfaces and hitting the apply button doesn't always work, but I'm going to try it anyway. So I'm going to get rid of the extra interfaces here. So next I'm going to reassign each interface. I'm going to do it in order. Okay, so here's the tricky part. Normally I could save this and then hit apply changes, but this doesn't happen when you're importing a different hardware configuration, and it's going to actually try and take the effects right away, and that means we're going to lose network connectivity. So if we look here, this eventually will tell us we're no longer connected. It might take a few seconds. Okay, so we see here that we no longer have network connectivity, and also what's happened is the DHCP server on the LAN interface has also stopped. So what I'm going to do is reconfigure my network card. The configuration that I loaded, the LAN interface IP address is 10.0.1.1. Alright, and we can see here that the DHCP server is not running. What I can do is I can restart it. Okay, so it looks like it's running now. What I'm going to do is go back and change the configuration on my network card. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to reboot the router here, just to make sure that everything loads up okay. Okay, so if we look carefully here, we seem to be stuck here on the boot process in this section right here, but our web configurators come back. So I'm going to log in, and you should see another message now. Okay, so we see this message here. So So it's telling us basically that it's making some changes. I'm just going to close that. Okay, so the reason why it got stuck there is because the WAN configuration was assigned to a different IP than the current setup here. So all I did was just make the WAN DHCP instead of static IP, and that seemed to fix the problem. So if you see anything like that, that's what it means. Basically, it's trying to contact the internet but can't, so it's kind of stuck there. So this is the kind of stuff you have to do if you're restoring from a different hardware configuration. So if you haven't done this before, it can be a little tricky, but hopefully like seeing me do this will allow you to do the same thing if you ever have to. Okay, so it's finished booting up and everything looks fine. So I'm just going to log into the web interface again just to make sure everything's good. Alright, so everything looks like it's running. Tells us there's an update available. And we can see all the LAN interface graphs. So it looks like it loaded everything up fine. The message we had before is all gone. So this is how you import a foreign configuration into different hardware. It's not as smooth as I would like it, but it can be done. So this is where I'm going to end this episode. Thank you.